Welcome to day 2 of the Valencia NASCAR Fest, starting off with EuroNASCAR 2 action. Another 15 laps of racing for the drivers in EuroNASCAR 2. And of course, EuroNASCAR Pro with its second race of the season on this Sunday as well. Lots of action incoming from both categories. Of course, lots of new faces in the paddock as well across both disciplines. And we've been hearing from a few of them as they get ready to take on this 4-kilometer, 2.5-mile Circuit Ricardo Tormo.
I need out with Jack Davidson, a true rookie in the NASCAR Win Euro Series. Last minute deal, and now you're at the track. Just tell me, how is it as a rookie to drive one of those race cars?
Yeah, I mean, they're really good cars. They're quite a hard thing to get your head round, but coming from where I come from, front-wheel drive, not a lot of power, yeah, it's a big difference. But no, I think I'm taking to it pretty well. You know, yesterday we had a bit of misfortune, got bumped off when we were in 9th, sorry. So, yeah, I mean, the potential's there for us to go up further. So, yeah, I think we're looking good.
The feeling in the car and what you compared to what you did in the past, how much fun is it?
Yeah, a lot more fun. The rear-wheel drive's lovely, it's really good. But no, the car's totally different, so I'm still trying to get my head around it. So yeah, we're making a few setup changes just to see if we can get the car a little bit better. So the test this morning went really well, so we're just going to maybe do a few clicks here, a few clicks there kind of thing, so yeah.
Vladimir Osiortis claimed pole position as well as the race win in race number 1. Of course, fastest laps determining the grid for the Sunday races. And Osiortis once again in the hot favourite position going into this race as the drivers greeted their fans and guests on the start-finish line. Soon enough, though, they would be cleared and the racing would be underway. Osiortis and NASCAR then on the front row of the grid as we get started with 15 more laps of racing in the EuroNASCAR 2 category. One of our drivers already rally crossing. I believe that was Thomas Terfel at the back. Meanwhile, Vladimir Osiortis with pressure from Alberto Nasca behind. Then it's Gil Linster, then Paul Dufro. Martin Dubeck up into 5th place, looking to capitalise from the momentum from his battle with Patrick Schauber yesterday. He goes around the outside at turn 2, but Gil Linster with a bit of a hip check to him there. Can't get it done. Linster and Dufro side by side for 3rd position as the top 2 have already stabilised. And Gil Linster manages to get through into 3rd place, but Dubeck with a problem. Just 2 corners, or 4 corners into this race. And Dubeck, I think he has a puncture. And some bodywork off one of the Blake-Molen cars there as well. Full course yellow will quickly become a safety car. 2x2 rolling start attempt numero dos then on lap number 4 of 15. We get back started. And Vladimir Osiortis again makes a good getaway. Alberto Nasca looking to hold on to 2nd place, but Gil Linster has the inside line into the 1st corner, and I think a little bit of a nudge between the 2 of them. Oh, lots going on further back. Riccardo Romagnoli and Jack Davidson getting a little bit into it in the mid-pack there. Miraculously, both drivers continue on in the right direction, but Osiortis leads the way. Nasca has held on to 2nd place. Then it's Linster, but he dives up the inside at 4. Can't quite find a way through. That's going to leave Paul Dufro the opportunity to move the number 3 car up into 3rd place. And Dufro took that opportunity, so good driving from Paul. As Alberto Nasca in this race will want to try and hold on to the back of Vladimir Osiortis. He acknowledged it in an interview on Saturday. Look, this is not my circuit. I don't expect to do that well at the Circuit Ricardo Tormo, but he is pushing on nonetheless. Claudio Remeggio Capelli in a bit of a sandwich here of youth movement. We've got Thomas Dombrowski ahead of him, Patrick Schauber behind. Let's see if either driver can find a way through. Schauber, the Austrian driver, not actually registered to the junior class as we ride on board with Claudio Remeggio Capelli. Oh, and that's a dive and a half. Has he managed to make that stick? Yes, he has. Nice driving from Claudio Remeggio Capelli. And Patrick Schauber is now waiting in the wings to try and get past Dombrowski himself. Let's see if he can make a move then in that direction. Patrick Schauber, of course, yesterday had a fabulous scrap with Martin Dubeck in EuroNASCAR 2. In round number 2, he looks to continue that momentum. He's up the inside of Dąbrowski, and that's a fairly easy move, all told, for Patrick Schauber. Dąbrowski, though, will at least attempt to find a way through. He's very much in the learning stage of his career, and oh, that was a bit of an ambitious move into turn 4. Well, he managed to collect the car without collecting the car ahead, which is always the main target, I'd suggest, in those situations. Vladimir Osiortis, meanwhile, just managing things at the front of the order. Alberto Nasca behind, and then they've also got Paul Dufresne in the wings in 3rd place as well. Meanwhile, Kenko Miura coming up on the back of Dąbrowski. Dario Casso says, I'd like a piece of that as well. And Kenko Miura has the inside line through turn 2. Of course, they're going to go side by side through turn 3. That will allow Dąbrowski the inside into T4. They're still side by side. Oh, and they've got to be wary as well of Dario Casso behind, but Kenko Miura trying every which way he can in the Team Japan entry to move up a position here. This battle for 7th place, and Dąbrowski retains the position for the time being. Meanwhile, Martin Dubeck there, still running, but well down the order, of course, after that puncture on the first lap of the race. He's just ahead of the number 58 car of Max Mason. The Racing Fuel team getting some help from Double V to prepare their car after a big smash on Saturday. Capelli and Schauber, though, still fighting for 5th place. Schauber yet to find a way through, and Capelli defensive driving, but may have just left the door open there on corner exit at T11, and sure enough he has. Surely this is the opportunity that Patrick Schauber needs. He has the inside line into the corner. Nicely done from Patrick Schauber. I don't think there was much more that Claudio Remeggio Capelli could have done. He'd been defending for a long stretch of time, and finally the door was just open enough for Patrick Schauber to say, okay, see you later. There's Vladimir Osiortis still building that lead, still controlling this race. Of course, the tyres on these cars at this point have done the qualifying session on Saturday, the Saturday race, and indeed this Sunday race. So managing the tyres, managing the grip, so important for our drivers. And no one is doing that better than Vladimir Osiortis, who finds the checkered flag and takes the win. Alberto Nasca takes 2nd from Paul Dufresne in 3rd. Gil Linster takes 4th. Patrick Schauber holds on to 5th place ahead of Claudio Remeggio Capelli. Great racing up and down the grid, but no one can match the Super Cypriot, Vladimir Osiortis.
You made it, man. 2 races in a row. You won them. How do you feel?
Excited, and finally we show that we are fast, we are there, we are consistent, and this is the main key, I think, for all the rest of the races.
Issues for Martin Dubeck then, not the race he would have wanted in the 2nd round of the season in EuroNASCAR 2.
Martin, first of all, what happened in the beginning?
I don't know, I have to check the video. I think that one driver didn't check his mirror, so there was a crash. I had a lot of damages, so I finished P12, I think, but it should be better, but I had a lot of damages, so I could not do faster laps, and this is not weak what I wanted.
Good driving, though, from Patrick Schauber and Thomas Dąbrowski. Dąbrowski having a good first weekend.
Thomas Dąbrowski, another rookie trophy win and a solid race, right?
Yes, it was a solid race. I did a lot of mistakes and stupid mistakes, but I'm learning.
But are you happy with the results and the progress you made during the weekend?
I did a lot of progress about the setup, about the driving, and yes, I'm quite happy, but it's not the position that I wanted.
Well, I don't think anyone will be happier than Vladimir Osiortis. He has a 10-point lead in EuroNASCAR 2 heading into Brands Hatch. Dąbrowski leading the Rookie Trophy Championship. You heard him analysing himself very critically there, but I'm sure he'll be happy. Legend Trophy, Claudio Remeggio Capelli with the early lead there, and Arianna Casoli, the Sole Lady Trophy participant for now. leading that order as we shift focus to EuroNASCAR Pro. Of course, EuroNASCAR Pro race slightly longer at 18 laps. Lots of new contenders in EuroNASCAR Pro.
I mean, now with Liam Hazelmans, last year you won the EuroNASCAR 2 championship. Now you stepped up to EuroNASCAR Pro and got your first win yesterday. How does it feel?
And no, just awesome. I mean, you know, like making the step, I mean, of course we had some expectations because last year was for sure, like winning the first race wasn't expected at all. But yeah, I mean, I have the team important. I have also a new teammate, which is doing like awesome in the too. And yeah, no, he didn't start better this season off. I mean, it's just awesome.
But I have to ask this. First win, do you think you can be a title contender in your first year in EuroNASCAR Pro?
Well, I mean, last year we showed it like in the first season in a car, so well, definitely it's like when you race, it's for sure to know for a championship. And yeah, well, I think, let's say we start off really well. Like we won't jinx it or whatsoever, but yeah, just if we can keep this tempo for the rest of the season, I think we are really much.
Did you know you did some history yesterday because you and your brother are the first siblings ever in EuroNASCAR to win a EuroNASCAR Pro race?
That's true. Actually, I didn't even think about it, but that's true. Yeah, you know, I mean, also that I have to say, like even with Lars that is coming here, like, you know, as weekend now on, it's really also helping, you know, me and Gil like to get really onto speed. I mean, if you look at it, for example, on Friday, we were missing a bit of speed. And then we were doing a bit of data with him, and of course with his knowledge, his experience, and me and Gil like working together, we can really improve.
So Liam Hazelmans positive after his first weekend, or his first race, I should say. The weekend's still ongoing, and now with race number 2 coming up, he is on the outside of the front row because it's Gianmarco Ercole on pole position for this race. The fans once again crowding the circuit ahead of time to meet their heroes before heading back to the grandstand to see the racing action. It's Ercole and Hazelmans on the front row, Siortzis and Sebastian Bleekemolen on row 2, and the green lights will go out and we will be racing. Gianmarco Ercole and Liam Hazelmans in a drag race, as is everyone else, down towards the first corner. Thousands of brake horsepower run down towards the first corner, and it's Gianmarco Ercole that leads the way. Hazelmans going wide around the outside, and lots of drama further back. The 65 car of Romagnoli in a spin. Christoph Lenz into the gravel as well in the hastily repaired Racing Fuel number 58, and unfortunately the 88 car of Massimiliano Lanza has been stranded at the first corner, so safety car is required. Caution, caution, caution. And just looking further back, it looks as if Lanza was trying to make a lunge on Romagnoli. And quite a few drivers getting caught up in that one. The 48 car, Miguel Gomez, also involved. Well, racing resuming then. The green flag flies, and this time it's a very, very good start indeed from Hazelmans. Now, it looked as though Gianmarco Ercole wasn't anticipating that start in the slightest. I wonder what happened there. It's Liam Hazelmans then in the lead. It's Ercole trying to hold on to second place up against the advances of Giorgio Maggi, who's around the outside of him. You've also got one of the Speedhouse cars getting involved there. That's Lucas Lasserre. Now we've lost Sebastian Bleekemolen from the front end of the order. Bleekemolen into the pits with an engine issue. So one of the Team Bleekemolen cars is already out, but in 6th place, just behind Vladimiros Siortzis, we still have Vittorio Girelli flying the Bleekemolen flag. Hazelmans and Ercole then battling for the lead and breaking away from the chasing pack behind. Lucas Lasserre, the vastly experienced driver, also, of course, heavily involved with running Speedhouse. And he will be calculating what he needs to do next. He's going to have to defend in the immediacy, though, from Giorgio Maggi, who's looking to the outside into the first corner. Will probably try and carry speed, maybe utilise some of the runoff, but no, can't quite hold off, or can't quite get around Lucas Lasserre on that occasion. Vladimiros Siortzis keeping a watching brief as well, of course. When you go side by side through a corner, you leave yourself open to losing time, and well, Hazelmans at the moment holding on to the lead, but Gianmarco Ercole tried to get up the inside on the Exeter turn 4. Bit scruffy between the two of them, but both cars still pointing in the right direction. Liam Hazeman's very coy about his own ambitions, but after the first race, you have to assume he wants to be a championship contender. You have to assume he knows he can. Vladimir Osiortis up the inside of Giorgio Maggi for 4th position. Now Maggi looks like he might be having a little bit of a struggle there. It didn't really turn in properly into turn 2. Yesterday he had some brake issues. I hope that they haven't re-emerged for Giorgio, who was having a stellar race up in 4th yesterday, but sure enough, he's losing positions once again. Vittorio Garelli now up the inside. Mark Goossens exploring his opportunities as well as they go through turn 7 and into turn 8. And Goossens, yeah, looks like Goossens may be able to get through here as well in the Cal Racing number 56, the pop art livery. And yeah, sure enough, he's gotten past. I think Giorgio Maggi might be struggling again. He's still trying to go on the offensive. Frederic Gabillon and Martin Dubeck behind as well. Dubeck, who started 13th on the grid. He's working his way up the order quite nicely at this stage. Lucas Leclerc under pressure from Vladimir Osiortis then. Osiortis coming off a good result in the EuroNASCAR 2 race. 2 wins from 2 races in EuroNASCAR 2 this weekend. Wouldn't he like to be on the podium once more in EuroNASCAR Pro as well? Lucas Leclerc, though, defending and maintaining 3rd place for now, but a good run through turn 4 from Osiortis. Can't quite get it done. Nice, respectful racing between the two parties. Vittorio Garelli says, can I get involved, guys? He's watching on from behind. A little bit wide out of the corner there goes Lucas Leclerc. Looks like he might be struggling a little bit with apex speed. These tyres will have been through the ringer a bit at this point, and Leclerc, sure enough, can't get turned in. And that's the opportunity that Osiortis needs to move up into P3, yes. Through goes Vladimir Osiortis into 3rd position for the time being. But with Leclerc, the wily veteran, and Vittorio Garelli both on his tail, that is anything but secure right now. Martin Dubeck's leading a huge train of cars in the background as well. Coley has fallen off the back of Hazeman's at this stage. Hazeman's is a comfortable race leader. Right on board with Coley. And I'm just hearing that Hazeman's has to give the position back due to a fault with how he took the restart. I believe the lights went out early and Hazeman's replied in kind. But he's been judged to have jumped that restart, and he's had to give the position back to Gianmarco Ercole. So he does so. And well, he's not going to fight the stewards about it through the radio. He's not going to worry about it. He's going to immediately fight back. Gianmarco Ercole, for now, though, is the race leader. Hazeman's judged to have been a jump starter on the restart, and Liam Hazeman's now has to find his way back past Gianmarco Ercole. The directive was to give up the lead to Gianmarco. So it's Ercole in the lead from Hazeman's in 2nd place. Then it's Osiortis there in 3rd place. He's looking to latch himself onto this lead battle as well, isn't he? This could be a 3-car scrap for the lead before too long, as Hazeman's tries to set himself up for a good run out of the final corner. Gets the power down, and certainly tidier exit than what we saw for Ercole. Osiortis also very much in this slipstream queue between the 3 of them. Towards turn 2 they go. And will Hazeman's have a look to the inside? He does. He gets to the inside of Ercole, but he drifts the car wide. This is going to be Ercole's opportunity to cut back on the inside. Oh, and contact between the 2 of them. And surely there's got to be damage for at least one of them. Sure enough, Hazeman's can't get the car turned in. I think he has a puncture or some suspension damage, and it looked to me as if Gianmarco Ercole's car was sitting down on the right rear as well. And yes, it looks like he has a puncture. Yeah, he does, but weirdly not coming into the pit lane. Safety car is out. He hasn't come into the pits despite that puncture, and the carcass has now shed from that 54 car. and he did have to pit eventually. He will start right at the back of this pack as we go to a restart with 2 laps left to go. So it's Siortis versus Lucas Lasser now on the run towards the first corner. Let's see who comes out on top. Siortis has the inside line, but Lasser trying to power around the outside. Hopefully everybody's clean. They're not. We've got a spinner further back in the pack. That was potentially Armetta. Yes, Fabrizio Armetta in a spin. He collected Miguel Gomez. His car is now limping. Lucas Lasser and Siortis side by side, and it's Lucas Lasser that leads the way from Siortis. Then it's Vittorio Gorelli in 3rd place, Mark Goossens in 4th, and Martin Dubeck, who started, let me remind you, in 13th place. He now runs in P5. It's a 3-car battle for the lead according to the graphic, but look at how close everybody is together on the circuit. This could go any number of ways now. Lucas Lasser is your race leader. Siortis tries to dive up the inside at the final corner. That could compromise his run out of the last turn. On to the final lap of the race then, and it's Lasser and Siortis, and then it's Vittorio Gorelli. He looks to the inside of Siortis as they go into the first corner. Oh, and he taps him. Vladimiros Siortis sent into a spin. Lucas Lasser collects a huge slide there as well. Mark Goossens then is up to 2nd place. Martin Dubeck has inherited 3rd. Make that 2nd. He dives up the inside and gets past Mark Goossens. Great driving. Lucas Lasser, he had to hold a slide all of his own while it was all kicking off behind him. Dubeck's up into 2nd. Mark Goossens in 3rd. Gorelli in 4th place. Vladimiros Siortis has unfortunately been unceremoniously dumped out of the top 10, but Lucas Lasser is going to cross the line to win the race and secure an early championship lead. He's only meant to do this first round of the season, but let's see if that holds true. Lucas Lasser crosses the line to win for the first time properly in EuroNASCAR. He's won a race on steward's decision before, but that's his first time seeing the checkered flag first, and I'm sure that Lucas Lasser is elated.
Well, I speed out last year with Alex and Mark Goossens, Alex on the graph and Mark Goossens, where we were very fast. I was concentrate on my team manager role and team owner. And for this race, I'm just competing in this race. So I win. I would like just to thank you, a big thanks to all the people who stay with me this winter.
Meanwhile, Ercole and Hazemans have to dissect their incident towards the end of the race.
Liam, let's just talk about what happened there with Gianmarco Ercole from your point of view.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, I think with Ercole, like when I was on the outside, it was a bit like my mistake because I wanted to get back because, okay, I didn't have the room. Otherwise, I was pushed into the gravel. So, I mean, yeah, maybe I went back a bit too early and yeah, okay, sorry for that. But I mean, you know, I was leading and then like all of a sudden, like the start, it wasn't my fault because even they said yeah, it was the race director that went too early. But I mean, you cannot let me drive like 4 or 5 seconds away and then all of a sudden, like middle of the race when I have a gap, say, okay, now you have to let him pass again. So that's why I let Ercole pass again and then yeah, I had the contact with him, but I mean, it's ridiculous, but okay, it's on to next race, it's fine.
Hey Gianmarco, we heard the version of Liam Hazemans on the incident happening on the track. Of course, we don't know your reaction.
It's normal. I race in a professional category with kids. The kids is fast, but don't have strategy, don't have dates. You have more speed than me, but the race normal. This weekend, that car is more fast than mine. But I no understand the overtaking that mode because you race all time on the PC, not in the real life. The real life is another. When you race in the track, you switch on your head because inside the track there is the respect. You don't restart.
Well, tensions high there. Lucas Lasser leading the championship then in EuroNASCAR Pro. You heard him say, oh, I'm only doing this race. Let's see if that proves to be true for Lucas Lasser. Junior Trophy winner, Junior Trophy Championship leader, I should say, Ulysse Del So. Riccardo Romagnoli leading the way in the Challenger Trophy as well. I think plenty of drivers have lots to be excited about coming out of the season opening rounds at the Circuit Ricardo Tormo some though with tensions high after incidents on the circuit. They'll be bringing that energy to Brands Hatch next month for the American Speed Fest. Make sure you join us then, either in person or failing that with us as we bring you all the action.